Guys, make sure, see how I sound on the mic? If you're not like right in front of the mic, you won't sound like this. So,
Do I
Shanta,
sound like
you
Booker?
and Ralph are going to have to,
Get close.
just
Am I
make sure
loud?
you're talking in the mic when you.
Okay.
When we do our intros.
Just flip it around, I guess.
All right, you ready?
Let's go.
All right. Welcome, everyone, to the Race Record Quarterly Podcast. You are being greeted today by the Race founding partners. We're going to all take a moment to introduce ourselves to you. I will start. My name is Sobomehin Marshall. I am one of the founding partners for the Race. I'm a local race director here in Atlanta, Georgia. Avid runner myself. And just really proud to be a part of this race. My role on the team is I am the race director, the community engagement liaison, the going out looking for people to support, sponsor, and make this thing happen the way that we deserve to have it happen. So very excited to be here in the room with these awesome folks. So let's just go around to the right, I guess, here.
Hello, my name is Shanta McMillan. I am the assistant race director for the race. Also, I do the timing and scoring. I am a lover of running and all things fitness.
Hi, I'm Ralph Lyons. I'm a longtime runner and affiliated with the Fulton running partners since 1998. I didn't discover I was a runner till I was in my 30s, and I've been an enthusiast ever since. And it's been a pleasure. A few years ago, we started having a summit from the Fulton running partners and realized that the community of African-American runners was burgeoning and becoming huge. And from that was the springboard for the race.
Yes.
So I've been an enthusiastic supporter once we evolved the concept of the race. And I can't tell you how it's changed the lives of many. It certainly changed my life, and it's just a pleasure to be affiliated with it.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Darrell Patterson, another one of the founding partners. I started running in 2012, and running helped me a lot in my life. I received a lot of benefits from running, and more importantly, the running community. So I think, like everyone else in this room, we wanted to figure out a way to expand that to other people, introduce our community to the sport of endurance running, and introduce other endurance runners to our community. So I'm excited to be a part of the race, and excited about everything we're doing.
And I guess finally me, I am Booker Edwards, one of the founding partners of the race. I am also a member of South Fulton Running Partners since 2014, something like that. I don't even remember. I just love to run. People who know me know that I'm not a racer per se. I don't care to pay for races except for the race.
Thank you, Booker.
And it's a couple that I like to pay for. But outside of that, I just enjoy running as kind of my therapy. My role here with the race is Tessa's called me a jack of all trades, and I don't know exactly what that means. But I assist with the technology, media, and anything that she needs help with. So.
Design consultant.
Yeah, okay. Great. I'll take that title too.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
Videographer, audio engineer.
Yep, all of that type of stuff. So happy to be here, and it's been more than I expected, to be quite honest with you. I'm loving what has become of the race. So looking forward to the future.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for being here today. For those of you who are listening and are new to the race, maybe you just discovered the race within the last few months. And for those of you who have been down since day one, since we launched that Kickstarter campaign in 2017, we just wanted to put this podcast together to give you kind of an audio insight into all the beautiful things that have come since we first launched the race. We are entering our third year. The race 2020 will be year 3 for the race, and we want to keep you kind of updated on the happenings. We won't take too much time going into the history of the race because we feel like we've definitely documented that very well. If you have not visited the race website, you can go back and look at archives on theraceuc.com. You can check out how we got started. through Kickstarter. You can check out the Race 2018, our inaugural year, the legacy year. You can check out the Race 2019, where we impacted and elevated to the next level. And then, of course, get in tune with everything we have going on this year. And then we also have a beautiful video short film that was put together called The Race, presented by the Unity Collective movie. You can find that on our YouTube channel and also linked on our website, Facebook. And you can find it somewhere. And we'll put it in the show notes. Is that what that's called?
That's what
yes, we'll put it in the show notes, the link in the show notes, and learn all about the race and how we got to where we are. But the purpose of this podcast is just to give you racers insight on the evolution of the race from your founding partners. And this group that you just heard introduce themselves, we are the founding partners. But make no mistake, the race is definitely a for us, by us event. We have a large community of runners and walkers and businesses and supporters and folks that just come out once a year to run and walk with us that have made this race a possibility. We want to, definitely shout out the race team that helps. We meet all throughout the year to plan all the intricacies of the race. And we've got an awesome race plan for this year. So I'm going to kind of go into the basic outline for the race 2020. So the kind of concept of the race, and you guys remember when we were planning this event, we talked about from day one that we wanted this to be more than just a, hey, come run a half marathon and then go home, right?
Yep.
So we talked about like what were some of the things that made the race experience or a race experience memorable, what made people want to travel from all over the country to participate in a race, right? So one of the first things was that it had to be a distance race, right? Although when we'll talk about our numbers soon, although our 5K, it's growing by leaps and bounds, we knew that, most folks were going to come into Atlanta, of all places, to run. It needed to be a distance race, and we felt like the half marathon was that distance that, was challenging. We had a lot of folks that used the race as their first time half marathon over the past 2 years. We've got a lot of folks using it this year. So the half marathon is the feature event. That is the catalyst event for the race. But we added the 5K because we knew that there were people who would want to come experience everything that the race had to offer. Maybe they weren't ready for that half marathon yet. But honestly, we have a lot of folks that are distance runners, but they just want to hang out, party, experience everything that's going on. And they say, you know what, I'm just going to do the 5K. And even in that first year, we had a lot of folks that were doing Berlin and Chicago, which basically sandwiched the race weekend, wanted to still be a part of what we were doing. So they opted for our 5K or even the half marathon as either a cool down race if you were doing Berlin or your last kind of effort run before Chicago. So the place that we put the race in the running calendar was purposeful. We talked a lot about where this race should fall in the race calendar, and the fall, obviously being in Atlanta, weather-wise, that's perfect. We didn't want a conflict with Boston. We didn't want a conflict with world majors. So that's how we ended on the first or second weekend in October, depending on Chicago. So we always our opposite weekend of Chicago in the first 2 weeks of October. So we open up the race weekend with our welcome night event on Thursday night. We are excited to see that event continue to grow. I think the first year people didn't know what to expect. We showed up. It was a party. Second year, a few more. But honestly, guys, I think we're going to have to, keep an eye on our venue location for year 3, because I think the word is out. The first year we did kind of lightly say that it was a VIP night, but make no mistake, y'all, the welcome night event is the welcome night event. We know we got folks coming from all over the country, and we want to just be excited to welcome everyone to the race weekend. So that's going to be opening night on October 1st. And then, of course, Friday, the Race Expo. An expo like no other. We have our speaker series going on, our small business expo. We're going to have the Run Duo back again to do a live podcast. So I'm excited about that. Food, entertainment, And it's really just kind of a meet and greet. You know, this is where all racers are required to come and pick up their race packets, pick up their shirts, and then hopefully, you know, stick around for a few hours to hear some great speaker topics, spend their dollar with Black-owned businesses, small, corporate, the race store, and then, you know, hopefully, you know, make their way back into to their hotels and continue to, you know, fellowship with friends and family. All right.
I think it's worth noting, Tess, as you alluded to, the expo is an event in and of itself. No one comes to the expo and picks up their bib and leaves.
Yes.
Everyone is going to stay. It's an opportunity to learn. It's an opportunity to shop and meet and mingle with the people that you're going to be running with.
Yeah. So, like, what do you guys, what has your experience been on Expo Day the last 2 years? I know, like, I'm running around doing a million things. Like, I don't even know if I see you guys. What are you guys doing on Expo Day?
We're running around doing 500,000 things. That's about right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I know, Darrell, you host at least one panel, right?
Yeah. So, and I didn't mention this earlier, but part of my role here is to serve as the elite athlete liaison. And what we talked about is trying to get, well, one, we want to bring out the entire community, but we also want to show all aspects of the community. So we want to highlight all of our runners, from the fastest to the walkers to everyone in the middle. And so the elite athlete panel is a way for us to recognize and highlight some of the faster athletes within our community. And it serves two purposes. One, it celebrates these well-deserved athletes, but on the other hand, it also serves as an inspiration for us and for the next generation, as a reminder of what we can do if we aspire to it.
Nice. Yes.
I think on the Expo Day this past year, I was responsible for helping with setup and the vendors coming in and getting their things inside and set up. But it always feels like less of an expo and more of a good time family reunion kind of thing, when the people start coming in and hanging out, and then the vendors that are outside with the great food. We have options for everybody. I'm a vegetarian. There are multiple options for people who don't eat meat. There are options for people who do eat meat. You know, and then there are panels and speakers going on all day. There's music. It's just a really good time.
Yeah.
My job is to enjoy the vibe.
Yeah. I always tell Ralph, go schmooze. Ralph is schmoozing.
Yeah, that's my job, to schmooze and to meet people from all corners. And it's just wonderful to see people from 30 different states, or 30 to 40 different states that we've had come in. So it's exciting. It's like the best of the best race expos I've been throughout my running career. Like going to a major marathon. I mean, it's even better because it's just for us and by us, and we know that we're about not only just hanging out and learning things, but we have some other things that we're planning for the whole running community to do too, like our service day after that. So this is cool to just hang out, enjoy the vibe, and schmooze, and it is very unique.
Yes, and I know Shanta and we usually start the day at 4 in the morning.
It's definitely pretty early on that morning. So.
Yeah, so we're loading in everything, and I kind of gave you the not so glamorous job on Expo Day. So she was the one that was making sure all the race day registrations are Expo Day.
I pretty much help with the registration. I guess you can say the customer service department for registrations. If you have any issues, if you're looking to transfer and things like that. So.
Yeah, and it's funny because comparing year one to year two, I know year one, for some reason, I scheduled myself to be on a stage 5 different times. Yeah. And I was like, okay, can't do that. I think I had one panel last year, and that was plenty. But, we have a ton of volunteers that come through to make the expo happen. Setting up the start-finish line, that's one of my prides and joy. I love doing that. Making sure that participants have an easy packet pickup process. So, and, I think our volunteers are key on that. We have a great team, volunteer coordinators. Shout out to our volunteer coordinators. Shout out to our race store managers and folks in there. Shout out to our speaker series curators. So, again, just know that a lot of people make, that whole day flow very smoothly. Race Expo Day, it's an all-day event. And then we hope to, encourage everyone to enjoy the city of Atlanta. For those folks that are coming to the Atlanta for the first time, or this is their annual visit, there's so much to do in the city. So, you come, you spend a few hours at the expo, and then maybe you go catch a bite at one of our amazing restaurants. Maybe you catch an attraction, and we want to, make sure you have time to do that on that Friday. But got to get to bed, because the next day we start bright and early, or dark and early, I should say. 7 a.m. is the start of the race 5K and half marathon. The half marathon took off first this year, right?
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
So half marathoners take off right at 7 a.m. They kind of run into the sunrise, which is very beautiful. And they take off, and then our 5K lines up about 15 minutes later, and they take off. But, I wanted to kind of tell you, like, when we have our pre-race, it is the most hype and inspirational pre-race. Like, if you're like driving up, running up, you really missed out on the pre-race.
I'll co-sign that.
It was so cool. DJ, we have the best DJs in the city, DJing our events. Our MC is getting everybody hyped. We have Queen Sheba, who delivers the race poem every year, which is powerful. We have a rendition of Lift Every Voice and Sing. And then, the warm-up, like all of it. So it's amazing, the race morning. And, we're running around, again, crazy, but I always try to take a moment to just kind of look around and actually see what's going on. And, just seeing all those beautiful brown and black faces all over, it's like no other. So our race, the race morning is really the feature event for the weekend. And then this year we will be curating some type of evening experience for racers to enjoy. That was one of the kind of most common questions and or feedback that we got. Hey, we want something that we can do on Saturday. There's a lot of little pop-up events that some of the local run clubs or restaurants might do, but it's been mentioned that we should actually have something that everybody can be invited to and take advantage of. So look out for that this year. And then of course Sunday is our Community Impact Service Day. So we have stated that the race is a 4-day weekend since day one. And we want everybody to, be excited about not only running, getting your medal, getting your T-shirt, partying, enjoying the city, but giving back to the community that we just ran through the very next day. So we put together several community service projects that you can sign up for, come out, and anyone can come and participate in this. But our racers take advantage of filling those spots, anything from packing bags for homeless shelters, neighborhood cleanups, book drives, clothing drives. What else have we done over the last 2 years? Cleaning up a park. I think we did some
separating
type of
clothes.
separating
for the
clothes.
Yeah.
Organizing. I think we did some painting 1 year, some gardening. And we basically get out in the community and ask them, hey, what can we do? We're going to have a couple thousand people that are willing to come and do whatever you need to do for 2-3 hours on a Sunday morning. So we're excited about that. So that is the part of the weekend. And then we wrap it all up with a little wrap-up party on Sunday. So that's the full weekend. Like I said, mix and mingle in, just being in Atlanta with that. And it's an experience like no other.
And I would highly recommend taking advantage of that entire weekend. I think one of the beautiful things is the diversity of the events. And so often we may run with each other, and so we know one aspect of the people that you're spending time with. But if you participate fully in this whole weekend, you get to see the entire, well-roundedness of a person. On Thursday, you're partying with them. On Friday, you're learning with them. On Saturday, you're running with them. And on Sunday, you're serving with them. And you just get to see and the diversity of all of us and our different talents and our different passions. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, you'll definitely walk away with new friends and new connections, for sure.
Plug for the service community. It's like no other. You don't have to be able to run to do that. Some of us are more proficient runners than others. Some of us, like me, used to be proficient runners, but all it takes is a good heart to serve.
Ralph, you're still pretty darn proficient.
That's all right. Thank you for that, Booker. But it is a beautiful thing to be able to give back, and that's like no other race that I've ever been to.
Awesome.
Oh, and like Ralph said, anyone can come out and volunteer for the community service. I would definitely say this year was beautiful seeing people bring their kids and things like that. So you're
Yes.
sowing to see, you're letting the younger generation kind of build their into their lifestyle as they get older. So definitely come out and bring your family.
Yep.
Yeah. And I want to put the challenge out there. Let's start early. Like, we had maybe 20% of our race participants participate in community service. We can do better, y'all.
Yeah.
I mean, I think 50% is still low, but that will be my goal is for us to get, if we have 2,000 racers this year, let's get 1,000 people coming the next day. It means you got to
community
go to bed a
service.
little early on that set, or just struggle through Sunday morning. I mean, we know how to stay out late and still get up for the long run, so it's the same thing, right? You can go to sleep later on in the day, or if you're flying back home, you can
Take a
sleep on the
later
flight.
flight.
Exactly. So
And
just
it's
plan
fun.
for that. Oh, so much fun.
It's work, but it's actually fun. And it doesn't matter what I think we've all done multiple. I've done the park cleanup. I've done the packing of the. No matter what it is, when you're working together, you're laughing, you're telling jokes. It's
Talking
fun.
about the race yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. And,
Comparing injuries.
And like Shanta said, seeing people bring their families out, and then the service partners, they're amazed. I mean, they're like, wow, you guys all just ran a half marathon yesterday, and you out here helping us in our neighborhoods. So it's a beautiful thing. So you will hear us talking about that a lot, y'all. We want to make sure that we really wow the city of Atlanta with our service on that day. So real quick, I just wanted to go through some of the common questions and suggestions that we get for the race based on 2 years of feedback. I'm just going to run through some of these and kind of give you an update on where we might be with that. So the first thing is more visors, more hats, more swag. If I got one email about we ran out of visors at the expo, I got 50 emails about we ran out of visors. So we will be ready for you guys this year. You can get swag all throughout the year. We do have an online store that you can order whatever we have in stock. So visors, hats, shirts, tech gear that you can represent the race all year long.
Socks. The socks are amazing.
Yep, we
The
got some
socks
socks left in
are
stock.
amazing.
Yes. Oh, go ahead, Milo.
Yeah.
Yes.
Palm hats.
Palm hats.
Palm hats are
not
the
the
bomb.
first 400 palm hats though. So www.theraceuc.com/shop. Our store is open. We ship out every day. We'll ship, as soon as you order it, we'll ship it within the next 2 days. So the other thing we hear a lot is adding a 10K or 15K. And no, that's definitely something that, in the long view, we can definitely consider. But right now, y'all, we trying to perfect half marathon 5K, and we do understand that there are people who can challenge themselves past the 5K and maybe aren't quite ready for the half. But for the foreseeable future, the race will be a 5K and a half marathon run simultaneously. But, I put the challenge out to the community. Force us to grow it. If we get this thing to 3, 4, 5,000, we're going to have to come up with some more options because, these Atlanta roads and hills can only handle so much in a short period of time. So we welcome that challenge. But again, for the foreseeable future, we will be a half marathon and a 5K. But just we hear you. We love the fact that that runners want to challenge themselves to that next level. And one of our goals is those of you who are taking on the 5K, aspire to that half marathon in subsequent years. And then of course we always hear about flattening the course. Y'all, ain't nothing we can do about the hills.
Yeah, if you run a mile in Atlanta, you're gonna find a hill.
Exactly.
It adds character.
Yes, I was listening to an interview that the Atlanta Track Club director Rich Canal did about the Olympic trials, which are coming here in a month, and he said that the course that they're running for Olympics is Atlanta Flat. So that's a common term that we use, Atlanta Flat, which means it ain't flat. So. Nothing we could do about it. I know that hill at the end is probably one of the worst that you could possibly run, but it builds character, y'all.
Yep.
Y'all all survive and y'all look good at the end. Finish your photos, everybody's
Gives you something
smiling.
to brag and complain about on service
Yes.
day.
Gives you a better story to tell.
Yeah. But the typical email or the typical comment I see on Facebook and Instagram, oh, it was beautiful, but those hills, no one can completely give the review without mentioning the hills. So.
Welcome to Atlanta.
Yes, we run those hills all the time. So, and then little things like more post-race snacks, food for the finish line. Easy. We definitely were looking for more sponsors that can contribute to that. Continued improvement on our parking and addition of shuttles. Again, challenge us on that. The more people that we have, the more we are pushed to look at things like that. And then, of course, as I mentioned, something organized for the racers to do on Saturday. So you'll see a lot of those things implemented right from the beginning. We wanted to make sure that this race was top notch. Our theme for 2020 is excellence, y'all. So hold the race to a standard of excellence, and we will deliver a standard of excellence to you at every step. So, guys, the thing that is really special to me and something I'm proud of is that we have held true to the original mission of the race. I mean, I'm going to read our mission statement, and you'll see that, we pretty much are doing and living that. It hasn't deviated. But we originally said that the race is a collaboration of running community leaders, vendors, and supporters united to host a road race that supports Black-owned businesses, runs through historically Black neighborhoods, makes a positive impact with charity and service, and garners massive national support from the African-American running community and beyond.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
all boxes checked.
Yeah, and continuing to grow. So it's just a beautiful thing. So as most of you know, we opened registration for the Race 2020 on Black Friday. All right, Booker, where's that button? Get ready. Hold on.
Sorry.
So we opened registration on Black Friday, November 29th, and we said, you know what? Hopefully we'll get a couple hundred people to register on day one. Y'all blew us out the water. We had over 800 registrations on the very first day of registration. And the challenge for 400 people to register, we hit 400, our first 400 registrations within the first hour that we were open. So picture it, we're here at the race headquarters, one of our headquarter locations at the Russell Center for Entrepreneurship and Innovation, hosting a live event and literally sitting there watching the numbers grow 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Next thing we know, an hour into opening registration, we had hit 400. So we thank you all so much. We've continued to grow. We hit 1,000 registrations within the first month. And here we are. We're sitting here on January, the 23rd at the time of this recording. Yep. So Shanta, tell us a little bit about what who are these people that have jumped on board, been on board since day one and excited about this race more than 9 months in advance.
We definitely want to say thank you to all those who have supported the race. As of today, we are at 1,201 runners, participants. Yes. So that is definitely huge for us. Continue to spread the word. And with that is definitely probably half and half, whether it's the half marathon or the 5K.
I love that 5K. Let me tell you.
Yeah. So nice little split there. I would definitely say we're probably still at that more female and to male ratio, probably more females than males.
Yeah, during the first 1,000, it was like a 80-20 female to male ratio.
Yeah.
Darrell, what's up with you guys?
We're gonna step it up.
You gonna step it up?
Yeah. Me, Ralph, Booker. We're gonna take. It's our personal mission.
Yes, it is.
We're challenging the guys. We're gonna step it up, and here's the fact, right? That history often overlooks. Look, y'all lead things, okay? So now that you all have set the tone, you have inspired us. We're feeling the fire of inspiration. We'll show up.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll be out there.
All right. The challenge has been.
We look to see that ratio get smaller. Then.
Come on, guys, help me help back up my words.
So we know.
I'm gonna do this.
We know that Georgia is going to represent and come through. But who are some of the other states that have really represented through this first 1,200 participants?
For this, I would definitely say the top 10. Definitely Georgia is definitely number one. But you have Illinois is in there. Woo. You have
Let's go, Chicago.
You have North Carolina. You got Texas, Maryland, New York. You got Pennsylvania, Michigan, Virginia, South Carolina.
Nice.
Those like the top 10.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Nice. We gotta get the West Coast on that list.
Well, since you mentioned that,
Honorable mention.
California.
Okay.
They've got 31 people. I think that's like more than quadrupled
than what they had last year.
So I don't know who these Californians are, who the leader of the California crew is, but thank you.
Yeah, shout out to y'all.
Are. Yes, there you go.
Continue to spread on the West Coast.
Yes, West Coast. All right, and that's a total of 34 states, including or
Plus
not including DC, plus DC,
Right.
that are represented through the first 1,200 registrations. And then our demographics report also gives us top cities. So some of the cities that are representing, I thought it was interesting that it breaks it down by city.
Yeah.
So who we have?
Of course, like I said, Atlanta. You got Chicago out
ATL.
there. You got Philly representing. You got your Raleigh, Brooklyn, Charlotte, Bmore, Decatur, Lithonia, Mapleton.
Those are all Georgia
Southfield.
cities. Yep.
Atlanta Metro.
Houston. You got Marietta, Little Rock, Fayetteville, North Carolina.
All right. So that's really interesting. Because I mean, obviously with some of the top states, the major cities in those states, but I was really happy to see Philly pop up in there because I remember seeing a group from Philly talk about where's Philly at, where's Philly represented, because they might have had maybe like 10 people from Pennsylvania total. So again, whoever is out there in Philly spreading the word, we thank you.
Thank you.
I think I have an idea of a couple of folks that are really spread the word. And then North Carolina, I know they're probably not happy about being second fiddle to Illinois, but y'all
North
work
Carolina's
it out.
always coming in strong.
It's a tight margin.
Yeah,
So
it is tight.
I think I'm going to predict,
Bold prediction.
this is not a hope or a dream, but I'm going to predict that Carolina might take Illinois at the end. What do you think, y'all?
No, I'm staying out of that.
I mean, it's a short drive. They better just come on, get in the car. Let's go.
Time left. It's plenty of time.
Yeah, we'll see.
There's more people in New York, so we'll see if they can put it down or not.
Yeah.
It's a very busy airport.
I want to see more
here,
folks
too.
from D.C. too come through, like D.C. I know we got Virginia and Maryland representing. Thank y'all, but I want to see some more D.C.
Go
folks.
Virginia.
Yes. All right. And then again, continuing to get that massive national support from the African American running community. 96% of our registrants have identified as Black or African American. So we thank y'all. We could not do this, and we would not do this if it wasn't for the support of the community. And the race is welcoming to all runners of all races, creeds, paces, and speeds. But this event is definitely purposeful for us to celebrate the beauty of.
Was that rehearsed?
Yeah, I was about to
That
say,
was-
did she just drop a bar on
That
it?
was kind of smooth the way that
Hey.
came. Paces,
Oh, races, creeds.
races, needs,
Can you
or
do it
something
again?
like that. Yeah,
Races, creeds, paces, and speeds.
I like that.
Put the
Yeah,
beat
you like that?
behind
Can you use it? Coin it. So again, we truly appreciate the excitement and enthusiasm. But again, 9 months out, you guys have put your name down, put your deposit down. Some of y'all book hotels. I think we're already have halfway booked our host hotel, Embassy Suites, and the Clarion Inn and Suites. Shanta, what are some of the benefits of people registering early for any race, really, but for the race in particular? Why should people be continuing to register early?
Definitely for us, I would say that it helps get you connected to us via email and social media and things that we're doing all year long. Definitely it helps you to kind of know like what community service projects that we're doing in our community. So that helps to kind of get you out in your community doing some things similar to us. Also pricing is always a little bit better at the beginning. So best pricing.
Yes.
Also registering early helps us with logistics wise. It helps us to plan the race better, productions, predicting, forecasting in advance. So when you kind of wait last minute, then it kind of throws things off in
And
terms of like
that's why we had to cap the 5K last year, because we had to predict how many people, and we had to order the medals and all that stuff like months in advance. And we're not gonna have y'all out there running praying that you get a medal. So honestly, it's really June is when we have to start putting final numbers in for a lot of stuff. So
when we know those things a little ahead of time,
Yeah.
then it helps us just plan better.
Definitely.
So you're not trying to wonder if you're getting a medal at the end or if you're going to have your t-shirt size or
I'm not
things
trying
like
to get
that.
those emails.
So, yeah.
Yes. All right. So guys, we appreciate register when you can, but if you can get in early, put your deposit down on your hotels. Again, Atlanta is a very vibrant city. There's bound to be 10 different things going on at the same time. But we're making an impact on the economic community of Atlanta with this event. So get your registrations in early, and so you can brag about you're going to be in Atlanta in October. All right. So talking about who will be here for the race weekend. We know if you're listening to this, you're either registered, thinking about registering, or planning on registering at some point before October. But we continue to want to build this race as a premier event, not only in the Atlanta running community, the Southeast running community, but the world. And Darrell, he takes the lead on reaching out to some of the best runners in the country and trying to entice them with our event. So Darrell, tell us a little bit about who we have kind of slated to run and who we want to get out here to run.
Good deal. I think to start out, get the applause ready, Booker.
Not yet. Okay.
That's the only button we know how to use so far,
Right.
y'all, just so you know. We'll get better.
I have received confirmation that both our male and female winner from last year have verbally committed to returning to defend their titles.
Yes.
So for those that don't know, Habib won the men's race and Shawana won the women's race. Shawana has won both years.
Yes. She has a course record.
Yeah. She's got the course record.
record.
She's won every year. And what's interesting about Shawana is I don't think she's been healthy either one of those years.
She's come off a marathon
she's
both
coming
times.
off injuries or marathons, and she's still getting out here to do it. So I confirmed with her this morning. She gave me an enthusiastic yes with lots of exclamation points. So yes, we're excited about having those back. But with that said, I don't want it to be easy for them.
Yes.
So I am actively, as much as I love both Habib and Shawana, I am actively trying to find people to beat them.
Yes.
That will make them faster.
That was a better joke. And I think what we talked about, and I sort of hinted on this earlier, is that we really, really, really are making an effort to try to highlight the entire spectrum of what it means to be a runner. And my focus just happens to be on the elite end of the field. And what's funny is every year when we put together our elite panel, they're all like, oh, don't call me elite. You know, I don't know if I feel comfortable with that title, but we want to impress on them that no, in our community, you are elite. You are elite as in you inspire us. We're proud of you. In many other races, you know, you may get lost in the shuffle. You're just one of many other runners, but in the race, you are honored, you are looked up to, and we're going to really try to highlight your achievements because everything that you achieve, we achieve. So we're standing on the shoulders of each other.
Yes.
So with that said, it's a little bit tougher for me because I'm not on social media, but I am finding multiple ways to try to reach out to people. And if you're listening to this, you may have already heard from me. I'm emailing people. I'm trying to contact different running groups to send their best runners. Please contact me if you know of anyone or if you are interested in really trying to compete at the high end.
Darrell, what are some ballpark times that people should be running to be?
Well, I'll give you last year's winning times. Habib won the men's race in 1:17, and Shawana won the women's race in 1:30.
I mean, she did 1:27 the first year, I think. So
Right.
So
Yeah, she
that
did
range.
1:27 the first year. First year for the men's marathon, that one was around 1:13.
So she has the course record, you said, but for women?
Yeah, she has the course record for women, and she's won both times. So she hasn't tasted defeat in the race yet.
So does Habib have the course record for men now?
No.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Shout out to Blake Jorgensen. He has the record for the men. He runs for Atlanta Track Club Elite. So that's going to be a tough one. But I challenge us to step up and even challenge that record as well. So yeah, we're looking to sort of beef up the elite section of our race, particularly the women's end. And this is where I'm going to be honest. The women's side has been a bit thinner.
Yeah.
So just as the men, as we mentioned earlier, we're being challenged from a participation standpoint. Mm-hmm. Let's step up our registration. For women, I am really actively trying to reach out to some of the faster women to try to get them to join the race. I won't call out any names yet because I don't know if that's appropriate, but I'm definitely actively looking for some of the faster women in particular. That being said, I think we'll have an additional pool that we can pull from because Atlanta is playing host to the Olympic Trial Marathon that's coming up in a little over a month now. Yeah, a little over a month. February 29th will be America's Marathon Weekend here in Atlanta. I, as of January 7th, am now a member of the Atlanta Track Club board.
Yay!
That deserves an applause.
Thank you.
Real clap.
Thank you. I promise not to try to abuse that position, but yes, if I get close to anybody, I am going to find a way to tell them about the race because it's really exciting. And I say that half in joke because the Atlanta Track Club has been very supportive of our race as well. So it really is a partnership, and we're all working together to do this. So that is my update. We have both returning champions. We're actively looking to build the elite field. Please reach out to me. For those that don't know how to contact me, the quickest way is probably email, DAREL Patterson, 2 T's, at gmail.com.
All right. Thank you so much, Darrell. And
You're
we're
welcome.
excited to continue to build the field. And again, build that roster of runners that we can brag and say, hey, so-and-so ran the race. Like Shawana, shout out to Shanta. We love you. She is a legacy backer of the race. She literally has been supportive of the race since the first time she heard about it. And, she's an outstanding athlete, not just a fast female in Atlanta, but one of the top runners in the nation.
Yeah.
And with that too, Darrell,
I'm sorry,
go ahead.
not to cut you off. Speaking of fastest women in the nation, I mean, she is. I think my count may be off now. I think it's up to 8 or 9, certainly less than 10 African American Black women born in the country of America.
Yeah.
Only I think 8 or 9 have run a sub 3 hour marathon, and Shawana is one of those.
Yes.
So when you meet her, it's kind of, sometimes you may overlook it and you may not think about it, but you're literally meeting someone who is like a living legend.
Exactly.
She is creating history, but she doesn't carry herself that way. She has
Not
such
at all.
So
an
humble.
amazing
Humble.
energy. If you come here this weekend, you're going to see her dance all day on Thursday. She's probably going to be on at least one of the panels on Friday. And then she's still going to race on Saturday, and is
And
no
dance
loss
after
of energy.
the race too.
That's
Usually,
right.
Yeah. No, she's great. And for those of you who are just hearing about Shawana, you can follow her. I think her Instagram is Peach Runner, and she's very active on social media. Some form of Peach Runner, and she has been featured on the Run Duo podcast. She has a great interview. Was she on Run Duo or Shut Up Time? I think she was on Run Duo.
Run Duo.
Yeah, so you can find that archive episode on the Run Duo and hear her whole story. She has an awesome story.
Yep.
So thanks, Darrell. We'll continue to get updates as the year progresses on runners who have committed. And, just kind of side note, just made me think about. So if we got the Olympic trials with the best of the best running on Saturday, does that mean Publix is pretty much up for grabs on Sunday?
That is a very, very good point.
I mean,
Wow.
I don't see anybody
really
going
good
back to
point.
back on the trials in Publix.
I might have to rethink pacing.
Yeah, I mean, and they do
already
prize
locked
money
in.
for Publix too, right?
Good point.
So if you're like one of those borderline Olympic trials
Just
athletes,
pace them faster than they
you
expect.
might want to consider Publix for
We're
your.
going faster than we should.
Yeah. Now I wouldn't have advised trying to jump into it if you ain't been training for it, but it just made me think about. I mean, age group awards. I mean, everything's gonna get bumped up a little bit.
We've got to call Habib on that. Habib told me, I don't know if I want to put it, he's public about it. That's one of his dreams.
Yeah.
I think he wants to try to finish top 3 at Publix.
Hey, this
or
might-
maybe he wants to win it at some point. This might be his
This
year.
might be the year, Habib. Get out
I
there.
have to talk to him about that.
No, like I said, I don't know if they do prize money for the half, but anyway,
Yep.
even just getting on that podium for Publix. I mean, finishing Publix is a victory in itself.
Indeed.
I mean, that is a tough race. So
Flat Atlanta.
flat.
At its best.
Yep, exactly. All right. So next up, we're going to talk a little bit about our amazing charitable impact program. We alluded a little bit to our Community Impact Service Day, but Ralph has, as one of the reasons why we were able to kind of get Ralph really involved in the race from day one and say, Ralph, we want to give back to the community. And that's something that I know you are extremely passionate about in your own personal journey. But talk to us a little bit about what we've been able to accomplish in the last 2 years and what we aim to do as we move forward with the race.
There's much to be proud of already. In the past 2 years, we've been able to give back over $21,000 to local charities and nonprofits that have done some amazing work in our community. These folks are doing all kinds of things. We supported folks, for example, that have had an orphanage for 130 years in Atlanta that just needed a little extra help, plus volunteers, not counted in the dollars that we've given them. We've helped folks that have provided reading services to our children. We've helped folks that have done art projects that are not necessarily supported by public education. So it's great to be able to do that. And lots of, they're mostly small nonprofits. We elected not to give, with no disrespect to some of the big nonprofits that get money nationally, but to make a real community impact on the locals that really help our kids in this community. This is about us. We're also proud to have given over 1,000 hours of community service that the racers have charted. So this is amazing. So hundreds
Darrell,
of folks.
Keep your hands from over.
Hundreds of folks on Sunday, the day after the race, have just cheerfully showed up for volunteer projects. And our website, as it has in the past few years, will link you to all of the things that are going on. So please make that a part of your service, from cleaning up communities to packing food for the homeless to just doing all kinds of great things. And it makes you feel really good. Just having a good heart is completing the full dimension of who you are as a person. That makes it a very unique aspect of this race, and it's something that I feel really passionate about. So the race weekend is a 4-day weekend. Just remember that. Don't leave early. Please be on Sunday volunteering and engaging in those nonprofits and charities. Plus, all throughout the year, we're going to have various events that help those nonprofits and charities, and look for that on our website and social media sites as well, too. We're trying to make volunteerism a part of our journey as runners, and as specifically a part of the race, and get folks engaged in a way that maybe they haven't had an easy way to accomplish. So this is just one way that we can engage the running community into doing things that are beyond running that make a real difference for us.
And Ralph, let me interrupt you real quick and just say that, we're here in Atlanta. We're an Atlanta-based event. But our goal is to inspire you to do, we have listeners and runners from all over the country. You heard Shanta give the breakdown of just the top 10 states. But, you don't have to wait until the race weekend to find out who's in need of hands, feet, service, and even monetary funds. So we hope that this race and the way that we do things here are inspiring you to get out into your communities. One of the things that we do throughout the years, we'll have a group run in one of the neighborhoods that are along the course, and then we'll clean up the park that we ran from. Or our first year, we were able to go to a local church and rearrange their library, which you would be amazed how grateful people are for the little things that you can just show up and do. So please, if you're in New York, Illinois, Texas, in the name of the race, go out and serve your community and let us know. Put a group together. Wear your race shirts and say, hey, is there anything that we can do for you? We're just a group of runners that want to give back. So
we're franchising this idea. You've heard it right from Tess right now. So please do it. Do it in our name or do it in anybody's name, but just go out and do it. It'll make you feel really good, and it really does make a difference. So don't forget about those service hours that we'll have throughout the year, not only just on the day after the race. So it allows us to elevate the voice and the platform of various charities through our event, through these nonprofits, through communication, and through our social media channels. $5 of every race entry that you will give goes in that Community Impact Fund and is distributed to our partners. And Community Impact Service Day, I can't tell you, enough times, is the day after the race. We're putting the final touches on our Race for 2020 Charitable Impact Fund. We're making a few adjustments. We can't announce who they are, but we will be in the next month or so that we will have the ability to enable more runners to do more service, distribute more funds to more charities, and make even more meaningful impact on our community. That's our goal, to enlarge upon just our running gifts to do more, to be a 360 person in addition to being a great runner. So that's about it, but stay tuned. There's more to come.
Yeah, very excited about this year. All right, y'all. So again, we are excited to just be able to talk to you. I'm thinking about all of the people that I meet out in the community when I'm at various races. Anytime I wear the race gear, I will run into somebody who said, that's that race. or if they've run the race before. And, here's the crazy part. Going back to race day and expo day, how many of you have run into someone that talked about being at the race and you're like, you were there? Like, there are so many people. I still run into people all the time, see people on social media. And I was like, you were there that whole week? Oh, I ran the race. I mean, it's amazing to me. And, Booker, you really hit the nail on the head when we did our interviews for our movie. You talked about how, we envision this race not only just to be a local event. We have some great events here in Atlanta. Right? We've got the HBC, one of the largest HBCU 5Ks. We've got a Divine 9 5K. We've got an MLK Day race. We've got all the alphas, the deltas, the omegas. We have a lot of races that bring out the African-American running and philanthropic community. But why is the race different? What's different about this gathering for this purpose?
Selfishly, I just think it was the motivation behind how it just came organically. If we go back even before the Run Summit, where we had the unity panel with the different, we had Black Men Run, Black Girls Run, South Fulton Running Partners, Running Nerds. You guys, Darrell was still doing a podcast, and you moderated it. But even prior to that, Darrell and I had conversations, and he had an idea of something like this. I think possibly a year before that, we had a conversation about that. And just to see that thought manifest into what we've seen over the last 2 years and what we envision the future to be is absolutely amazing to me, because it started with just, even we go back further than that, I remember when Darrell first came out to run, when I met him at a Black Man Run, and to go from someone just getting involved into racing to having this vision of, hey, we are participating in races all across the country. Why can't we do something like this on our own?
Yep.
To talking with you about it and you having the idea of, hey, I could put this race on. And we had the expertise basically in-house and family, because all of us knew each other prior to doing the race. We knew each other from the Atlanta running community. So it's special to me because I've seen it from that perspective, and all of us have seen it from that perspective in this room. But I don't know that the broader audience has. I know they don't have quite that perspective on it. But I think when they come and they experience it, they get some of that perspective. They understand it. It has that feel of something that came organically and naturally, and something that's. It's beautiful. There's really no other words. I'm searching for words to describe it. It's just a beautiful thing to kind of see it happen. And from the mission statement, we've always wanted to, it says garner massive national support. And as Shanta just read off, we have people from all across the country who are now aware about the race, but we also know that there could be more. There's still people who've never heard of it, even here in Atlanta. So
I often wonder, literally, like, how many Black runners are there? Like, there's no way to really quantify it.
It's not. Yeah. It's more than we think it is.
Yeah.
Way more.
Way more than we think. And so a couple of weekends ago, there was the Atlanta Track Club Jerome Scales 12K, which is right in our neighborhood where I live. And they partnered with South Fulton Running Partners to kind of put that on. But there was a lady, I had on my race windbreaker jacket, and this lady came up to me and she said, what is that? Because there was a lot of us out there that had on the merchandise that day, right? And she was like, well, what is this event? So I started telling her about it. She had never heard of it. And I assumed that she was from Atlanta. I don't think she traveled to Atlanta for that race, but she came over and got some information on it. And there's so many ways, to get kind of to what I'm supposed to be talking about. There's so many ways to kind of get the word out about it and influence more people. We can talk about it all day, but we're all biased. Let's be honest. Yeah. We're the founders. This is kind of our baby. But when someone comes and participates and then tells their story, that's what makes other people want to come. Yeah. Because they don't have a horse in the race, as some people say. It's just something they experienced, and the feedback that we getting has almost all been positive, and people, it's something that they've never experienced. And these are not runners who've only run this race. They've run the big marathons. They've been to other states. They've done things all across the country. And then but the experience is unique, especially for African-American runners.
It is unique. I've often thought that we've made a silent promise, an unspoken promise really to one another as founding partners, that we were going to make this excellent and stay positive.
Right.
And it's an experiment, I've often thought.
The grand experiment.
A
I think
grand
you called
experiment.
it.
Those are my words, exactly. And it's worked out beautifully, but I think it's an unspoken promise to each other to stay positive and to make this the most excellent thing we can possibly imagine.
Right. And I think every time, I've run it both years, and as I finish the race, there's a sense of pride that I have and I almost get emotional, like, wow, this just happened the first time, and then when it happened again, I ran a better time. I was feeling even better, but it was just, like I said, it was literally touching to kind of see it all come to fruition and actually be successful as it has been so far. But for those who've been to the race and those who are interested, they can assist with getting more people to come, telling their stories, of course, through social media. Most of us are on social media, and everything we do in a run, we post. But that influences other people. Early on in my running journey, that motivated me to continue to get up every day because I knew people were expecting me to post about my next run. But I also knew that it was influencing other people who hadn't run to encourage them that they could also. But to share maybe as, when you have on your race gear or your experience with the race on your social media, or as you're training for the race, which was something that I did
more
before.
People training for the race.
Train for the race and then post your training and maybe we're all competitive. Challenge. We got cities out here. We just listed the top 10 cities. We're competitive. Maybe they should have a challenge. New York and who was first? It was Atlanta first, of course, and then Chicago.
Was second, yes.
And then we were talking about somebody made a bet on North Carolina. But
let's hear from Dallas and Little Rock.
Yeah, and all those states in the middle and cities like that, we're everywhere. So we could definitely have more people from across the country. But you can stay connected with us on our Instagram, the race_UC. On Facebook, it's at the race UC. And on YouTube, we're under the Running Nerds YouTube channel.
All of our videos and content
right
on the Running Nerds YouTube channel.
And of course, the website, theraceuc.com is where you can get all the information from. But we want to continue to see this continue to grow to where we have to expand and, like you said, possibly add more courses. It's just so many things that we love to be pushed and forced to do because there's so many people,
so much interest.
And so much interest. So
a lot of times people ask me, well, Tess, what are you gonna do when the race gets to 10,000? And then after I come to, because I pass out every time somebody says that, I said, well, you know what? We'll be ready. We'll figure it out, because if that's what the people want, this race is all about what the people want.
Right.
That's why we launched the idea as a Kickstarter campaign, because we said if the people want it, they'll pledge. They'll say, here's my race entry. If you get to a certain, dollar amount, people, and it's all about you all. It's all about wanting to put on the best event to celebrate what is beautiful that we all know and we all see and we all experience. Again, Atlanta in particular, but our nation, we have great races. We just finished up this past weekend, the Houston and Louisiana this past weekend are great races. The Dopey, challenge that just happened, they're getting 30,000 people to come and run through theme parks 4 days in a row. Crazy. We know about world majors, the world majors, I'm on track for world majors. So we know that there are great races and we've never said or never stated that we're putting on this race because there aren't opportunities, but for us to be able to do it in this capacity, Booker, you put it the best. It's beautiful. So.
And another word that you mentioned, both you and Ralph, is that it's unique, and it made me think of the director of my division at my job. He's from the Gambia. Did y'all know that the Gambia is called the Gambia. It's not Gambia.
I've actually heard that.
It's
once
the only
before.
country that has
That
a
has
the
the
in the
the in
beginning.
front of it.
Yeah, I only know that because
Things
of
you
my
learn
director.
listening
Yeah.
to the race podcast.
But my director came, and he's not like a runner. Like he doesn't sign up for races, but he signed up, because I asked him to. And I remember afterwards, that next day at work, he came and he was just like, "Wow." He just kept saying it over and over again. He was like, "Wow." He was like, I knew it would be good. I expected it to be good because
But
you were
not
a
this
part of
good.
it. And he was like, it was.
Man, I'm cheesing right now, dude.
Yeah,
That's
he
the first time I
literally-
heard this story.
He was just looking at me. He was just like, it was so. He couldn't even find his words. He was like,
Right.
everything, just the music and the people and just the colors, and he was like, just
that's awesome.
He's like, everything was just more than like what he imagined.
This
it
was
would
for
be.
2019 or the
This was
inaugural year?
2019.
Wow.
So I think that speaks to the uniqueness of it.
Mm-hmm.
I think the repeat runners that we have.
That's what I was about to ask. Like,
also
what-
speaks to the. I mean,
Yeah.
people keep coming back, and for those that haven't come, and this is what I like to exercise in my mind, and I think this is what we all did before we kind of started the planning of this race. If you could just close your eyes and imagine hearing, our music, just hearing the noise, the excitement, like you said, the sun is still down, but it hasn't come up yet. You're standing in the line, you're ready to start the race, and then you turn around and you see nearly 2,000 shades of brown. There is no other race in the world that has that feeling. Over nearly 2,000 shades of brown lining up to run a half marathon is something no
in
one's seen.
Atlanta.
In Atlanta.
What's also unique is that even if you're not a shade of brown, let's say you're white, for them, and we also obviously have runners that are white as well. They have never experienced that.
Yeah.
Right.
So
It's
it
new
is
for
a
them
unique
too.
experience even for them to be surrounded by that culture and to understand what it could feel like to be immersed in all of our beauty, in all of our diversity, from fast to slow to tall to short. Just the whole spectrum is out there, and we're all just having a great
Yep.
time.
Yeah.
And they probably get to learn a little bit of, electric slide while they're in the
Oh,
corral.
for sure. Yeah.
That smell of shea butter and cocoa butter is beautiful.
If y'all
Develop
haven't
rhythm.
watched that
Y'all think
video
I'm
that's
being
on the
funny,
race
but
website,
I've been to-
theraceuc.com,
Yes.
watch that little video.
Yeah.
It gives you.
It does give
gives
you
the
a
feel.
taste.
Yeah,
of
the
feel.
highlight video.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yep.
No, all jokes aside, y'all, if you ever, I've been to my share of Black Girls Run events. The one thing I love about running amongst a bunch of black women is you're going to smell the hair products, the cocoa butter, the shea butter, the jojoba oil. It's a beautiful smell. So that's a plug for running with us.
Come run the race because it smells good.
That's right. Tagline.
Love it. Tagline.
All right,
Best race
y'all.
you've ever smelled in the country.
I love it.
That's before the race.
Point taken.
That's funny.
Touche.
Shout out to deodorant.
So y'all listen, we are excited. It is January. We have 9 months to get everything together for you. Keep this thing hype, keep the train moving towards October.
You can make a person in 9 months so we can pull
Oh
out
my
this
gosh.
race. Yeah.
Dang, Booker, you went there. We are definitely going to pull it
that's
off.
real.
Here's the thing. When we launched this thing in January of 2018, when we opened registration for the first year, every month it was just, okay, we're going to figure this out. We did the first year and then the second year, okay, I guess we're going to do this again. But now, you guys have given us the confidence. We're excited. Again, the first 400 registrations on the first day and the first hour, that really just continues to give us the confidence and pride to know that this is what you want. You've seen us talk about our head nod and smile. So as the race swag continues to circulate the country, not only our beanie hats, our logo, you see that race logo, the R logo or the full race logo across the nation at the various races and events that you run in your towns. We mentioned some of the races that we've seen runners here in Atlanta, the Jerome Scale Southside 12K. We just had our MLK Day 5K drum run on Monday. The Black Chicago runners just had their annual awards banquet, and they were kind enough to feature some race gear that we sent them for some prizes and awards. But your city, your town, your local races, please continue to represent, spread the word. When people ask you, what's that mean? What's that R? What's that red, black, and green? tell them with pride it's the race and tell them what it means to you. So some other places that you're going to see us between now and the next time we come to you. This is going to be a quarterly podcast. We'll come back to you again in April with our next rendition of the Race Record podcast. But between now and then, this will probably launch right before February. So this first event I'm going to mention probably has already happened. So I guess I'm going to give a shout out and a congratulations to the Black Ice Project athletes, over 30. Yeah, give it to them. Yeah. We have about 30 African-American runners from all over the nation led by Heather King. Y'all know Heather King.
Go Heather.
That will be completing a combination of Chile and Antarctica marathons and half marathons.
Crazy Heather.
Right. So she has collaborated this group for a year now, and the manifestation of all the hard work and training and camping out in the snow is coming together. I believe the races are January 25th.
Yeah.
In and around those dates.
Are they going to be able to run Antarctica?
I heard that there's a possibility that Antarctica might.
Is it going to be cold?
Yeah.
Well, there's some
ice down there. I don't know.
Whether or not
Is it going to be hot this year?
It's going to be too cold. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know.
Yeah. No, I did hear that there was a possibility, but again, when this airs, it'll either have happened or not. So I know Chile is still on the dock, so they should be good there. So congratulations in advance to you all. We're proud of you for representing on that high stage, or I guess low stage, because Antarctica, get it? Okay, never mind. And a lot of those participants are going for their 7 continents, and that's amazing. It's an amazing accomplishment. Darrell, tell us a little bit about where we'll be. You've already mentioned a little bit about Publix Weekend, but remind them of Publix Weekend and what's going on that weekend.
Yes. Have I mentioned that I sit on the board of directors for the Atlanta
Never
Track
said.
Club?
I don't think you said that.
I just like saying that
Say it
as
again.
often as I can. So we have America's Marathon Weekend, which is going to run Thursday through Sunday. That's the end of February. Thursday will be the America's Marathon Weekend Experience. That's going to be like your expo. Also, press conference will be that day as well. So that'll be a good day to hear from some of the elites that are running in that race. The race, as in us, we're going to be having a TBD possible meet and greet that day.
Yes, in the evening.
We'll figure it out. We're still working on that piece of it. On Saturday is the Olympic Trials Marathon. But also before the Olympic Trials Marathon, I need everyone to show up for the Publix Kids Marathon because my son will be in there.
Right.
It's a marathon in air quotes. It's actually a 5K.
Does he need a cheer squad?
He can always go for a cheer squad.
All right.
And the cool thing is the little kiddos get to cross the same finish line.
Wait, what time are they starting that? Because volunteers, we got to be out there like
I think it's
5 hours before the race.
I think it's either 7 or 8. I think
In
it's
the
like 8
morning?
in the morning for the kids marathon.
Okay, that could work.
Yeah, I should know, right? Because I've got to get them there. So yeah, and then that afternoon will be Olympic Trials Marathon, and then on Sunday will be the general Publix Marathon, half marathon, and 5K for the rest of us mere mortals. Are we? I know I'm
we'll
pacing that race. You're gonna have a 10. Anyone else running it?
I'm running the half.
I'm going to run the half. I'm going to just commit today.
All right, Shanta Booker,
All
where
right.
y'all at? Come on, let's get a full roll.
I'm not running it.
Shanta will be running the half as well.
Did you hear my introduction at the beginning of this?
What was your introduction?
Never mind.
Oh, okay.
Booker will be
Booker
running
doesn't
up and
run
down
races.
Peachtree, cheering for us. So
I probably will have a Sunday run that day.
He's too cheap to run races.
These
Sounds
things
about
are
right.
true.
wait, didn't you run like 2,000 miles or something last year without running a race?
I ran a race. I ran the race.
I mean, the race. Yes, that's a given. So, that's going to be a fun weekend. Publix Weekend is always a ton of fun, but adding the Olympic trials, I'm super excited about it. And then again, when this airs, it'll be probably a week from today, but we do have a couple of spots left for volunteering for the trials. I have a hydration station crew. You can sign up. It'll probably be full by the time this airs. So if you know me and you want to volunteer for the Olympic trials, hit
Hurry
me
up.
up when you hear this. Okay.
Quick.
All right.
Yeah, and South Fulton Running Partners will be hosting their annual running summit on March the 14th. Where to be determined. but it will be March the 14th. Again, the Running Summit is where we, South Fulton Running Partners is the oldest African-American running organization in the country. And in being that we invite all of the running groups here in the city, specifically African-American running groups here in Atlanta and the metro area, to come and basically have a good old party.
Yes.
We run, and if you guys know anything about the partners, we socialize and we eat.
We are a breakfast club with a running habit.
That's Ralph's terminology for sure. So and it's also where I mentioned earlier where help me out, Darrell. The panel that we had.
Yes, the original panel. That's right.
The original panel, which kind of was the springboard for the race, and maybe we'll be having a panel again, but. Yeah,
it's a great event for those that haven't come and those that are in Atlanta and have the opportunity to go. As Booker mentioned, they are the oldest running African-American running group in the nation or the world.
Well, let's say the world.
Okay.
Nobody's challenged
disputed us yet.
Let's do it.
There's a lot of history there, so you get such a wide range of runners with different stories and different backgrounds. So it's a great opportunity for us to all come together. And if you are a running group in Atlanta, especially if you're a minority running group in Atlanta, we really all owe a debt to South Fulton Running Partners because they really have paved the way, and they're so humble. They don't, puff out their chests often, but we really should support them. I will definitely be there, no doubt.
Come out and meet Bobby.
Oh God! Shout out to Bobby.
If you come out, you
Shout
will
out
meet
to Bobby
Bobby.
Says. And next, we have on the calendar the African American Walk, or AA Walk, we call it. This was founded by the National African American Male Wellness Agency, which has been around since 2004, but they've decided to bring this to Atlanta. They're all about the health of African American male. We know that we are challenged. Our lifespans are shorter. And we just don't do as well as time goes on. So it's an opportunity to help us to be proactive about our health. And I have a passion for that as a physician. That's really what I'm all about. But I realize that there's bigger ways than as an individual you can impact the black community, especially African-American men. So this is one of those ways that we think will make a really big impact over the long run. We've taken away all the excuses for people to show up. It's free. It's going to be at Morehouse School of Medicine. It's going to be on March the 21st. There's health screenings associated with it. And you'll have a good time with it. You don't have to run. It's really a walk. So you don't have to be a runner. You just have to show up, be proactive about your health, and you don't have to pay a dime. And it's just a great way to support each other. You don't even have to be a man. I think you can just, bring a person that needs to start thinking about being more proactive about their health. So support that, if you will, guys. It's going to be great.
But it's coming straight from the doctor.
Yeah, and just to be clear, if you want to run, they do have a time division if you want to run. And, I know some of our competitive guys out there, I'm thinking about I can call some names, but but no, this is going to be a great event. Again, at Morehouse School of Medicine, the race will have a table there, and we'll be taking registrations, particularly for men that need to get signed up for the race.
And free kids pavilion. So, bring your whole family out, set the tone. It's time for us. We as men, we Gotta set the tone for the next
free
generation.
Health screenings, free. That's the operative thing. So you can do something for yourself, and it won't cost you anything but a little bit of time.
That's right. All right, and then Tess and Shanta will be heading to the Selma to Montgomery 51-mile relay.
Are you speaking in third person?
Well, I started reading, and then I realized I read myself, my set name, but they might not have knew who was talking. Anyway, Shanta and I will be heading to Selma for the third annual Selma to Montgomery 51-mile relay. This will be my third time participating. It is such a fun event. Another black-owned race production company, the Walk, Jog, Run Club, puts on the Civil Rights Race Series and the Selma to Montgomery Relay. Basically, we literally run the Selma to Montgomery March route from Selma, the church where Martin Luther King assembled everyone, Bloody Sunday, the Evan Pettis Bridge, all that's part of we're literally running on, Highway 50? Can't remember the highway, but on that highway, and we finish on the stairs of the courthouse where they marched to protest the voting rights. So it's a really, really beautiful experience. They have runners coming from all over the country, forming teams of 4 to 12. It's not like Ragnar because it doesn't take that long. It's not an overnight. I mean, it's usually everyone runs 1 or 2 legs. But Ragnar in the sense that you're running one person after that. Everybody's not running together. Mm-hmm. So you're accomplishing the 51 miles as a team. And then they have a bike ride too. So we will be down there. The race will have a table at the expo on Friday. We'll be out there. Our team is Race Team Excellence. I think we've got 2 spots left on our team. Looking for a couple of males. You can be from anywhere in the country. We just ask that you wear the race gear and are a fun person to be in a van with for 8-9 hours. Wear deodorant. Or cocoa and shea butter.
Cocoa and shea butter.
All right. So, y'all, we got a lot of work to do. It's going to be a fun year planning, prepping for the race. We'll come back to you in the coming months. You'll start getting your race record emails. So make sure you read your emails in between time. But if you're a type of person that likes to listen, the Race Podcast is here for you. In wherever you're listening to this, there should be somewhere to comment or ask questions, but you can always email us at info@theraceuc.com for quick answers to your questions. If you hit us up on our social media platforms, there's usually someone monitoring those. But this is for you to ask questions, be excited, and most importantly, spread the word. Challenge us, grow us, and make this race the target race for your goals and your awareness all throughout the year.
All right.
All right. Anybody else got anything to say?
No.
All right.
Run the race.
Good job, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Great.